and welcome to the Rundown. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and here are some of your top stories for the 19th of November. Felony charges against Virginia State Senator dropped as the police chief who filed them is fired. In coronavirus news, New York City schools are closed through Thanksgiving. The move to remote learning as the city reaches 3% positivity rating. And President Trump pays $3 million for a recount in 2 liberal Wisconsin counties. A mother of a murdered UH football player says that her son was robbed of his legacy. And in business news, Amazon is sued for failing to protect Black and brown workers during the COVID-19. And a Pennsylvania judge resigns the day before his misconduct trial over alleged racist comments was set to start. And in some sad news that MasterChef Jr. Ben Watkins dead at the age of 14. Let's get to the news. A long and strange saga in Virginia has come to an end as the felony charges has been dropped against the state's most senior Black legislator, and the police chief responsible for filing them have been fired. According to NBC News, senior Senator Louise Lucas, a Democrat, and 18 other plaintiffs were charged in August by the Portsmouth police with conspiracy to commit a felony and injury to a monument in excess of $1,000. The charges stem from a June 10th protest against police brutality and systematic racism following the death of George Floyd. During the protest, a few of the city's Confederate monuments were defaced and toppled, with police alleging that someone was seriously injured as a result. The Portsmouth police chief, a Black woman, was responsible for filing the charges, saying that Lucas and others conspired and organized to destroy the monument, as well as summoned hundreds of people to join in during this initial announcement. According to the police version of events in a probable cause summary, Lucas was with a group of people who was shaking cans of spray paint, and she told police that they were going to vandalize the statues and you can't stop them. But a dismissal motion filed by the Portsmouth Commonwealth Attorney's Office, where no proper evidence to support the charges that the plaintiff's actions rose to the level of felony destruction of property or conspiracy. Video of the scene and other digital evidence were also unreliable, according to the motion. In the dismissal of the charges on Monday, a judge also questioned why the police went around local prosecutors. City leaders initially questioned Green's involvement in investigating the Confederate protest. Local activists and clergy called for her resignation and firing. New York City entire public school system will be closed for in-person learning starting Thursday through Thanksgiving. Mayor Bill de Blasio said that while also warning about additional restrictions coming soon across the board. Beginning Thursday, November 19th, however, all school buildings will be closed and all learning will proceed remotely for all students until further notice. The school chancellor said in a letter to parents that you will hear from your principal shortly about the next steps for you and your student. Please note that this is a temporary closure, and school buildings will reopen as soon as it is safe to do so. Bill de Blasio also confirmed the closing of public schools via Twitter. Private schools, however, will not be impacted. During this daily brief on Wednesday, the mayor said that the positivity rate is exactly on the nose of 3% on a 7-day rolling average. Bill de Blasio expressed his disappointment on the decision while feeling strongly about bringing schools back. The mayor also urged for more testing or employed parents to return their parental consent forms for students to be tested. He said the plan to bring students back will be announced in the coming days. Parents of about 300,000 New York City public school students currently learning in person were left in a state of confusion Wednesday that Governor Andrew Cuomo insisted did not exist. They're not confused. A combative Cuomo said that of parents weren't confused. In fact, there is quite a bit of confusion, in no small part because of the state and the city uses different metrics to measure the coronavirus infection rate. By the state measure to the city's 7-day rolling average of 2.5%. President Donald Trump filed Wednesday for a recount of Wisconsin's two largest Democratic counties, paying the required $3 million cost and alleging that they were the sites of the worst irregularities, although no evidence of illegal activities have been presented. The recount in Milwaukee and Dane counties will begin on Friday and must be done by December 1st. Democrat Joe Biden received 577,455 votes in those two counties compared to the 213,157 for Trump. Biden won statewide by about 20,608 votes based on the canvass results submitted by the county. Milwaukee County is the state's largest home to the city of Milwaukee, and Black people make up about 27% of the population, more than any other county. Dane County is home of the liberal capital of the city of Madison and the flagship University of Wisconsin's campus. The Trump campaign is also alleging that thousands of voters improperly got around the Wisconsin's photo ID requirement by claiming that they were indefinitely confined and therefore did not have to present a photo ID in order to return their absentee ballot. Wisconsin law requires all voters to show an acceptable photo ID to vote, both in person and by mail. It does not provide exceptions for citizens who are indefinitely confined because of age, physical illness, or disability. The Wisconsin Republican Party sued Democrat Dane County Clerk Scott McDowell in March before the state's spring primary over an advice that he had posted on his Facebook page that voters could declare themselves indefinitely confined due to the pandemic. The Wisconsin Supreme Court ordered McDowell to stop issuing guidance that is different from official language approved by the Wisconsin Election Commission. The Trump campaign alleged that the damage was already done before McDowell was ordered to remove the language. Houston police released surveillance video showing 4 black men who the department are calling suspects in the shooting death of 22-year-old Darian Smith. His mother, Kanisha, is still in denial and dealing with a heavy heart. Police are now looking for 4 men who were seen on the surveillance video that night. Authorities describe one of the men as heavyset black man who was wearing a beanie, sandals, and a red and white and blue jacket. The other 3 men were described as thin black men who appeared to be in their 20s. The mother buried her son last Friday and said it was one chapter in finding closure. She said the next and final chapter would be to see those responsible in jail. If you have any questions regarding the shooting, investigators are asking for your help by calling the HPD Homicide Division at 713-308-3600 or Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. And be sure to join Jay Wilson, Rebel Son, The Official Kingpin, Conscious TV, and Captivating Christian this and every Thursday at 6:45 Central Standard Time, 7:45 Eastern Standard Time for the Gentleman's Panel, where we are not afraid to go there and discuss an array of topics. See you there. Former Amazon employee Chris Smalls sued his former employer on behalf of a class of similar statues, African Americans and Latino workers, for its failure to provide personal protective equipment, otherwise known as PPE, and complying with other safety guidelines during the COVID-19 pandemic. As New York City was fast becoming the epicenter of this deadly and brutal disease, Amazon knowingly subjected its majority minority work-line workers to unsafe, dangerous, and inferior work conditions as compared to those of white employees working in managerial classifications. When Smalls organized workers against Amazon's discriminatory practices by voicing his opinion in an effort to protect the workers, he was fired. In an attempt to further discredit Chris Smalls, Amazon concluded that as a black man, he would serve as a weak spokesperson for the workers and criticized him for standing up and fighting for the workers, says Smalls' attorney. Over 240,000 people have died in the United States from COVID-19 and millions have been infected, but Amazon was cavalier with the safety of its employees amidst the pandemic. Amazon put profit before the people and placed its workers at risk. The lawsuit alleges violations of the 42 U.S.C. Section 1981, as well as the executive law of State of New York and the Section 107, Section 7 of the New York City Human Rights Law, among other things. The New York Attorney General's office also investigating a whistleblower action against Amazon related to Chris Smalls' claim and allegations. Famed civil rights icon Reverend Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Coalition are also supporting Smalls against Amazon. Former Pennsylvania Judge Mark Tranquilli, who quit his job on Tuesday, one day before he was to face a misconduct trial, which he's accused of 6 counts of judicial misconduct, mostly involving racist comments he allegedly made towards black jurors and defendants. Tranquilli's problems began in February when he was placed on administrative leave after he allegedly got so salty about a not guilty verdict that he called a black juror who was wearing a head wrap Aunt Jemima and suggested that when she goes home to her baby daddy, he's probably slinging heroin, according to a district attorney and defense attorney involved in the case. In August, a formal complaint was filed against him by the Pennsylvania Judicial Conduct Board, and he was charged with judicial misconduct. He was suspended without pay shortly after, according to CBS Pittsburgh. Tranquilli wrote to his colleagues that he was referring to the head rep, not the black woman, because not only are racists cowardly, but they're terrible at making up plausible excuses for being bigots in comments. This was not the only instance that Tranquilly being racist as a complaint detailed in 2015 trial where the judge said that his only concern is his own 3 children and added that he did not care about the children involved in the case. While discussing communications with the parents involved in the case, he allegedly affected an accent and dialect described as a Hey, this is Captivating Christian here to remind you to tune in to Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Politics and Wellness every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Ben Watkins, famous for competing on MasterChef Junior, died after a battle with cancer. Ben was undergoing treatment for an extremely rare form of cancer at the Lurie Children's Hospital in Chicago. He died on Monday, according to his family. He was diagnosed with a soft tissue tumor when he was only 13 years old, and the family says the doctor told them Ben was only one of only 6 people in the entire world diagnosed with this rare illness called aniomatoid fibrous histiocytoma. An inspiring chef, Ben used to cook and man the front counter of Big Ben's Barbecue and Delicatessen in Gary, Indiana, with his late parents, who died 3 years ago in a murder-suicide. Ben's grandmother and uncle remember him as the strongest person you'll ever know. Ben competed in season 6 of Gordon Ramsay's host cooking competition called MasterChef Junior when he was only 11 years old and quickly became a fan favorite. Gordon and Ben's former MasterChef Junior competitors sent him a special video earlier this year when he was battling cancer, letting him know that they were praying for him and helping raise donations for a GoFundMe, which is now a memorial fund. Ben was only 14 years old. Once again, thank you for watching CCN Midday News. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification button so you will never miss another news update. Have a great day. Peace.